Let me get your address then. Hold on. Where did that pen go?
I don't know. I didn't have any pen. This guy Jimmy, what she was telling me about him is that he's a cop.
And he was up on an indictment charge.
He still is on the indictment charge. Did he tell you that?
You know what? I'm not gonna get in the middle because them two are like cats and dogs.
No, I understand, but I'm looking out for you now. It has nothing to do with them two, and they're screaming and fighting about who has control.
Yeah.
You have a cop in front of the TV who's up on indictment charges. Now people in North Bay are starting to fucking talk about it, and they're starting to fall out of this thing. Another thing she told me about the little girl is that she could last 3 years, not a month. And the family themselves, the mother doesn't even want to make a plea because you know what? She's not that seriously ill that she's gonna fucking die in a month, right? So we gotta watch what we're saying to people here, okay? Because you've been telling people that, you know what, this girl's seriously sick, she's only had one surgery, she's had blood transfusions which are keeping her alive. But she's not in a state where, you know what, she's going to be dying anytime soon. I want you to know that.
I hope that's true.
Well, it is true. Okay, now there's something going on with that family that they don't even want to go, the mother herself doesn't want to make a plea for her own child. Okay, she thinks the media somehow, they're a bunch of wolves or something. I don't understand what that is, but I do know what we're saying to people, okay? And if these people start to investigate this, and the kid's not as sick as we say she is, okay?
Well, she's in an intensive care at the hospital right now.
We don't know that she's in intensive care.
And sick kids.
Who said she's in intensive care?
I just got a report from that from Donina.
Danina went to go see her?
Not Donina, her niece, Christine.
Christine went to go see this little
No,
girl?
not at the hospital, but that's the report that they got.
And when did you get this report?
When I talked to Christine about a week ago.
A week ago. So the kid was in intensive care.
That the kid is in a part of the sick kids where it's a serious floor.
Well, I'm not saying that her disease is not serious, okay? And the whole thing is, it's not only Julie. Julie's just one of them. There's 300 kids that are hurting. I understand that, but the thing is us telling people that she only has a certain amount of time to live, and that's not the case. Because the doctors haven't labeled it.
We better get the, you know, okay, so.
And then you got this Jimmy guy who's up on indictment. He hasn't been found not guilty or guilty, but he's on indictment. And people in North Bay that own businesses are starting to push away from this whole thing because he's a crooked cop. Okay, he's suspended without pay, bro. And this is something we don't need being following us. This guy being in all our press conferences, especially in Toronto, where they will find out. And that's not going to be good. You know that. And another thing she told me Mike Harris didn't come there because of that one thing, because he was involved in it, that cop, and he can't be connected with that. So that's why Mike Harris didn't come. She said Mike Harris, Premier Harris called her home. Now I don't know how much of this is fucking lies, how much it isn't, but bottom line is that now you're carrying something here that's starting to look unhealthy. Now the whole thing about the little girl is pure and it's real, but the characters involved in it, they're not healthy people, man. They're not what we want to
I don't know what the real thing is, though.
Well, there is no, you can't get.
All I know is our story, that we were approached by the family.
No, we weren't approached by the
Well,
family.
I was approached by the
I
family.
approached the family.
Okay, and then the family,
And then you went over there and you
Yeah.
talked to them, and
Yeah,
then
and
they talked.
they-
But we
they-
already had the paperwork. They already gave me the paperwork. Because the day before that, I met her, Brenda, on the street. And she told me about the little kid. Then I heard it on the radio, and I went over there and I got the pieces of paper. The petition. I said, "Can we help you?" And they said, "Yeah," because we told them we had a booth. And Brenda, I talked to Brenda. And she goes, "Here's something, see if you can get any signatures."
you know, I'm thinking about this whole thing, and even if, I hope it's that she's got a lot more time.
Of course she has a lot more time. But the thing is we're telling people that she doesn't, so let's
So
just
she's
leave.
very sick though.
Oh, no doubt, she needs a bone marrow
She's
transplant.
going to die if she doesn't, so that's a correct statement to say that she's going to die if she doesn't get it.
Well, maybe she's not gonna die. Maybe she's just gonna be inconvenienced and be taking blood transfusions until they can find her a bone marrow donor. Maybe that's the real true story. Who knows what the hell is
Why would
behind
they
it?
print something like that about she needs a bone marrow and she wants to live?
Well, because the family is desperate. They want people to come forward so that her daughter can get help. But it doesn't mean that that their daughter is at the brink
You
of
know,
death.
The whole city went to back her up. I mean, you know, it's not like they're going into a new town, like everybody knows that family. You know, they know,
So what? They know North Bay. North Bay would have done it. Toronto would have done it for one of their own. But the
that's what I'm
thing
saying,
is
like, why would North Bay he wouldn't,
because Peter is connected with Brenda, and Brenda had pull with Peter, and Peter, who owns Fox Radio in thing, helped her out to bring attention to the cause, okay? That's why it was publicized as much as it was. That's why they got a booth, because Brenda was
I'm
involved.
talking about that, the nature of how serious this is. You know, like, I'm sure that things would have checked out by a lot of people.
Nothing was checked out by a lot of people, George. Let me tell you what was checked out about a lot of people is that this guy Jimmy is a fucking crooked cop, and he's gonna give us bad fucking press. Okay?
You know what
That's
he is?
what I don't, listen,
You know what
man.
he is? He drinks a lot.
I don't care what he does. I don't care what he did. I'm not condemning the man. What I'm saying to you is where we're at and what we're doing. We can't have this guy on national fucking TV with reporters going down his throat and then associated through us, step by step. We can't have that. Okay? Now, if you want to do this press conference and bring up Julie Perot yourself, fine. Or Brenda do it. But this guy Jim, he's not going to go on stage and do that, man. Because he's going to tank what we're trying to do. And that's save lives. Okay? It has nothing personal to do with who he is or what he did or if he's guilty or if he's not. Okay? The thing is that it's the truth. He's on fucking indictment. And we can't have that. We can't allow that to happen. We already let it happen once without even knowing. You see, we did the same thing before. We did it in Ottawa. We didn't screen out who we're talking to. People do that to us.
Well, what if they screened you?
It doesn't matter about me. I'm standing in the background. I ain't fucking talking on press. Alright? I'm not a police officer who has committed, who is assumed, okay, who's on charges for arson, extortion. Okay? He's been thrown off the force without pay. Alright? He hasn't gone to trial yet. But that's the fact, okay? I'm just you know what? A petty fucking thief. Okay? If you want to call it that. But what I'm saying to you is this is big. And you can't have this guy trying to make a character witness for himself, okay? Trying to get credibility for himself, trying to help this little girl. coming up with all kinds of bullshit. I don't know if Brenda's a bullshitter. I don't know her from nowhere. I don't know